Yeah, shall I start? Sadashiv Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano. Sorry.
No problem.
Okay, I was going by my page. Shruti Smriti Purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad Pada Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhasha Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
This is Saha now, not no. Second line.
Okay, Sahanau Bhunaktu.
Right. And the last word, Punah, Punaha, not Punah.
Okay, Punaha.
Yeah, the Visarga has to sound.
Punah, Punaha.
You can say Punah, Punaha.
Punah, Punaha.
Right, so that expiration of the breath can be a little less, but that's right. Okay. We will just do a few verses chanting to bring the mind in the context of the verse and also get the it always comes to the same person. Yeah, so we'll chant 14, 15 and 16. Okay, let's do 15, 16 and 17 today. Okay. Yam hina vyathayantyete
Yam hina vyathayante te.
Vyathayantyete
Yatha yam hina vyathayante.
Purusham Purusharshabha
Purusham Purusharshabha
Samadukha Sukhandhiram
Samadukha Sukham Dhiram
Somritatpaya Kalpate
Somritatvaya Kalpate.
Yam hina vyathayantyete Purusham Purusharshabha
Yam hina vyathayante te Purusham Purusharshabha
Samadukha Sukhandhiram Somritat Vaya kalpate
Samadukha सुखं धीरं सोऽमृतत्वाय कल्पते
नासतो विद्यते भावः
नासतो विद्यते भावः
नाभावो विद्यते सतः
नाभावो विद्यते सतः
उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः
उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः
त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः
त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः
नासतो विद्यते भावः नाभावो विद्यते सतः
नासतो विद्यते भावः नाभावो विद्यते सतः
उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः
उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः
नासतो विद्यते भावः नाभावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः
नासतो विद्यते भावः नाभावो विद्यते सतः उभयोरपि दृष्टोऽन्तः त्वनयोस्तत्त्वदर्शिभिः
अविनाशि तु तद्विद्धि
अविनाशि तु तद्विद्धि
येन सर्वमिदं ततम्
येन सर्वमिदं ततं
विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य
विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य
Just yasya, no visarga.
यास्य ओके ओके
न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति
न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति
अविनाशि तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततम्
अविनाशि तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततं
विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति
विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुम्
अविनाशि तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततम् विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति
अविनाशि तु तद्विद्धि येन सर्वमिदं ततं विनाश्यमव्ययस्यास्य न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति
So we are seeing the essential verse which brings up a very important discussion. Existence in general. Human being is perplexed, wants to know what is existence, truly speaking. has an inquiry regarding existence, hona, generalized. Where has this come from? Where have I come from? Where are we going? What is the reality of one's existence? What is existence? This is the topic of human inquiry. A fundamental thirst in a human being, a thinking human being, and on an average there will be some proportion in every generation who are thinkers. There are going to be thinkers, there are going to be workers, there are going to be protectors, fighters, and there are going to be earners. One basic division of kinds of natures seen in a human world. A thinking human being will have this fundamental urge regarding existence in general. That is the reason why science spends a lot of energy and resources on discovering creation, knowledge about creation. The basic urge is to know the origin of creation. From where has this come? It's a generalized query. It may not be specific from where I have come. Where has all this come from? What is existence? Regarding the topic of existence itself, that existence should dwell in the mind. Hona, my experience of something as existent. Hey, this is a query, an urge in a human mind regarding which all seeking of knowledge happens. Every knowledge that is growing in the world, that is coming about, that modifies itself, the previous gets corrected by the next theory. How much thinking is invested regarding a basic topic? And it is a helpless, choiceless need to know about where have I come from? Where is this, all this that is seen? Where is it originating? Can we ever know it? In fact, because existence is the primary query, God has come about because of that. There are many theories, there will be many propositions, there will be many explanations that will try and address this fundamental need, because of which even God has arisen. Because who created the world? If the world is created, if I see a pot, there is an intelligent cause of the pot. Clay by itself, the material cause did not convert into a pot by itself. There was an intelligent cause. When I saw the potter making a pot, I presume that if this creation has been a created experience, is a creation, then there must be also a creator. That must be that extrapolation that God must have created. And so you see all the spreads in so much philosophical approach towards this question, because of which there is a religious establishment in the premise of wanting to know existence. Vedic Shastra, in the Vedas, because of which our darshanas came about, those have this answer. What is existence? And with the help of Nyaya Darshan, which is all logic, tarka, stream of causational relationships. Everything in creation has a causational link. It's a relationship established. It's very intricate. It's different from Vedanta. But Vedanta will pick up certain aspects of it. Like we see over here, Bhashyakara has picked up. When it comes to existence, there is this whole model of explanation by different darshanas. What is Nyaya talking in a very generalized that Bhashyakara has picked up here? Anything that you contact, that you see with a sense of reality and you get the experience of it, therefore that experience makes you conclude that it is. I'm repeating. Whatever you are seeing in the world, contacting in the world, you get an experience from it, and from that experience that is born, you are confirmed that this is. Like for example, I may be sitting here, but I may be smelling an agarbatti from another room, and I can't see the agarbatti. My eyes are not seeing it, but my nose has approached, it has got the smell of the agarbatti. So I know there is an agarbatti in some other room. I can't see it, but the experience tells me agarbatti is there. That reality imposed upon, thrown upon, a sense experience that I have gained, earned, makes me conclude that that experience is valid. Therefore, the object of that experience has to be there. It is real. ये स्वाभाविक है, natural conclusion है for everyone. Therefore, the world is too real for us. There is no doubt to us about the world not being real. Real means what? From average standpoint, science, all of us, when you don't have the Vedantic knowledge, real means wherever I have had an experience and I have concluded that experience, that conclusion of me having had that experience means it's real. वो तो है इसलिए because an experience cannot be born from nothing. Therefore, that was. Therefore, this is. Therefore, the other is. Because in an experience like we saw yesterday, there is a subject and an object. So that object has to be there, no, for me, the subject, to have experienced it. This is Swabhavik conclusion. Vedanta says, means Vedanta in the real sense, those people who inquired on the nature of existence discovered its nature. Let me start from here. They were called tattvadarśi. If you inquire on the nature of existence in a proper thinking, logical pramana, as a praman, you have arrived at the nature of existence. You have discovered the source of existence. Tattvadarshi is here, who has discovered the source of existence. Where is the existence coming from? That existence addressed in the Shastra, through Vedanta, you understand that definition is required to fix what is called existent. Existent का मतलब क्या होना चाहिए? Because there must have been a lot of oha debates that must have happened for years and generations probably. The knowledge has grown before the rishis must have encapsulated the Vedic vision and saw in alignment with it for them to become tattvadarśi. The manan must have happened. What is fixed? If I say there is a flower in front of me, flower is existent for me. You don't see flower. It's in front of me. That flower is not existent for you. Is that flower an absolute existence? There can be a debate. Should I call it existent or not? Because some of you experience, some of us don't experience. Not only that, my own experience of that flower changes. As the flower starts decaying, my experience of the flower changes. So should a changing experience be called as existent? Where is existence to be anchored? Where should you hold it? If everything is constantly changing, what is the flaw there? Everything changes. Like there is this thinking in the society, one of the thinkings, that everything is incidental, accidental. The creation, everything is accidental. There is no reason to find causes here. Causation is not necessary. It's all accidental. Everything is just coincidental, accidental. That's one of the theories. To explain away existence. What an easy way. You don't have to tax your brain at all. You don't have to do any thinking. Why? Because to think you will have to employ some cells. Just easy thinking is first available is it's an accident. Let's not worry about it. Don't have to think anything about it. That this existence is accidental, or from that extreme to the other extreme. If everything was always changing, what is the flaw there? If everything is constantly changing and there is absolute existence is not there, there is no changeless existence. Everything is in the category of change. What will happen?
It has to change in reference to something.
Yeah, there'd be no substratum on which change will happen.
Change.
Right? There'll be so what will happen? Just presume there is no substratum. What are we experiencing today? We are experiencing a change on a substratum. That is why there is a sense of solidarity. If that sense of solidarity is not seen at all, what will happen? Today I have woken up as this. Everything can change. What will happen tomorrow?
There won't be an order.
There won't be an order. Excellent. There will not be an order. But we find an order here. So that means to say everything is accidental is an easy thing. Yes, correct. Other side of it is, if you just say that everything is constantly changing, therefore the existence is of the nature of change, then there will be no order seen. But in creation we see an order. In fact, the order is so orderly It is so orderly that you are helplessly supposing that there must be some governor there, because how is it possible for so much order, as if that prime order is controlled by someone who is extremely powerful, like that king controls a kingdom, etc. So the existence itself cannot be ever changing, because that means there is no certainty of anything. We are in the realm of uncertainty. आज हम ये हैं, कल पता नहीं, कल क्या, next moment पता नहीं. The change can happen anytime, no? It doesn't have to wait for tomorrow. Today I am this, next moment I can be a horse, or I can be just disappearing. I'm taking a class and now suddenly I've gone, or you have gone. Or I'm still a human, or you are still a human and I have started barking. I've become a horse. There is some sort of an order. If I have sown an apple seed, where is the intelligence that only the apple tree will come from it? It's as if preordained. It will not miss the chance. Yes, it may not grow to become a tree, but if it grows to become a tree, you will only get an apple fruit from it. An apple seed will only bring an apple fruit. That existence is the query, is the question. And here, by observational analysis, what has been arrived at? That actually in experience, watch your experience. When I got a fresh flower today, the freshness had a smell, had a softness, starts to decay, the properties change. I am observing the change. From one to another, I have transferred. The flower the smell's gone the next day, has reduced, and the very next, after 3 days, it's wrinkled. After 5 days, it's dry. Vikar ho gaya. That flower went through a vikar. Did the flower come by itself, popped up on the tree? Suddenly, just popped up in front of me. Vikar of what? The plant had to also mature at a point for it to flower. It did not just spring from somewhere. That plant had a vikar. Plant itself came from somewhere. There is a vikar. Siddhant is the principle on which existence and its nature can be perceived truly, really. And anyone with a scientific mind, scientists should look at this and address the concern of discovering existence, creation, and look at it and start the inquiry from that direction, which is already laid out over here in the Shastra. What is it? Yat Vishaya Buddhi Vyabhicharati. I experienced a flower. I have a buddhi of a flower. I have a cognition of a flower. In that cognition here, forget the flower outside. In the cognition here, that flower is represented now in my mind as a thought. In this thought, the thought is changing as the flower I see changing. Vyabhicharati. Vikaraha. Shapes up. Yat buddhi. Yat vishaya buddhi. The topic in the mind, vishay jo hai, Yat vyabhicharati. What is the Siddhant? Tat asat, in the green highlighted portion. Tat asat. Facebook people can see it clearly. Tat asat. Sa vishaya na vyabhicharati. The buddhi which is not undergoing any change. Na vyabhicharati. Tat sat. That is sat. So what changes and what remains changeless? When you just say it as this, your attention is not driving the point to the point that there is this two buddhis simultaneously happening as if imposed as one. When I say flower is, if I have not got this background of knowledge, I fail to discern by my independent thinking process, flower is. ये तो एक ही दिखता है हमको. There is only one cognition of a reality. But in that one cognition, there is actually two cognitions of a changing reality and a changeless reality. The changing reality is called asat by the fact that it has to undergo change. How can you call it real? वो रहेगा ही नहीं. Agama, it has come. The flower came. The bud sprouted. Before the bud, there was this little, just that peak of that stem that is now going to shoot up. And you say, there's going to be a flower coming. The joy that it brings you, oh, there'll be a flower here now, just now. And then you see the bud, and then you see the bud now growing, and then you see the whole flower blooming, and all the vyabhicharati. If you were also vyabhicharati along with it, the experiencer was also changing along with it, you would never notice it. There will be randomness. Is this clear? The randomness of experience. It will just be random, unintelligent. But here you are seeing as if it is so clearly, linearly moving. One will not shift to another. Suddenly from the seed, a tree will not grow. It will have to go through its stages. So, yat buddhi vyabhicharati, noticing it, tat asat, this is relative real, which means it has come, it is an appearance, it is seen, but because it is seen, it doesn't mean it is existent by itself. It does not have a reality of its own. The reality of the world that we think has its own reality. That means the world is always there. I am born, I will die. The world remains. The world remains. We know it is changing, but our concept is, our idea is, the world will remain. But I will come and go. Vedanta makes a whole turnaround. The world comes and goes in you. You remain. You are there. The world is coming and the world is going. You are not coming and going in the world. The world is coming and going in you. The flower came. The perception happened. You will say, but if the flower was not there, then how would the perception have happened? Well, if you were not there, how would the perception have happened? That is why between the flower and you, who is Sat, who is Asat? Do both of you have the same degree of reality? That is the inquiry. Does the world and me have the same degree of reality? Because today in my perception, cognition, I have a lesser degree of reality than the world. I say the world is real. Especially because I can't change anything here. I can't even change another person's behavior. However much I want. I have hardly any control over the world. So the world will remain as is, we say. I am the one who has to adjust. I am the one who will come. I will die. I am the one who has shad. My body will have shad vikar. If I have a birth, I will die. I will come. I will go. जो जन्मा है वो मरेगा. अभी तो बोला कृष्ण ने. जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युः. Whatever is born will die. So the world in my mind, if I equate the sense of reality, the world has a greater reality. It overwhelms me. दुनिया मुझे घबराती है. दुनिया मुझे डराती है. दुनिया में मुझे पता नहीं है. दुनिया से मुझे fear है. Etc. etc. Because the dunya is so huge and is so real. I am so tiny. I am so limited. I am so very, very much small being. What is my power? What is my capacity? Who am I after all? I am just such a small entity. Vedantic Drishti takes a little time to establish, takes a lot of reflection if we get to that point. But the Siddhant is, the day you begin to see, or those who are seeing it, who is the tattvadarśi? Tattvadarśi is one who is clearly seeing the nature of Sat as Sat. That Sat will never go out of existence. Na abhavaha vidyate satah. Sat will never have abhav, will never go out of existence. Asat, on the other hand, can never have an independent bhav. It can never have an independent existence. That means the world is there, I may or may not be there. Not a topic of inquiry. If you are not there and the world is there, what good is that world to you? You are not there. Like when I sleep, the world is not there in my sleep. What happens when I am asleep? What happened to the world and the experience? And my one of the favorite reflections is whatever has troubled me during the day, supposing something really bothered. And it fascinates me when I go to sleep. Where will this trouble disappear? And what fascinates me is I wake up and I pick it up again. I need not pick up. Do we see the point, the link? I feel that the world continues. That is why when I woke up in the same bed, I woke up in the same house. My house did not shift somewhere else. And exactly where I slept, I woke up. Peaceful or disturbed is another quality of sleep. But because it was all there as I left before I slept, so therefore it must be there. That therefore it must have been there. Vedanta says, ye anuman hai. This is your inference. What was your experience? When you were awake, you had a waking state, waking experience and contact with the senses. Everything fell off. Your individuality fell off. The waking world disappeared. it disappeared along with you. The you individual disappeared. There is no cognition of me, Miss Deepti Vishwanath, blah blah blah, while I am asleep. I don't have the cognition of myself. I don't know if anybody ever reflects on this, because it sends horripilations on the thought itself, that the whole identity disappears every few hours, like a cycle. And that it disappears. My entire identity disappeared. When I woke up again, if genuinely it had become non-existent, think about it. Would you have the experience of I slept, cognition that I slept? Was it possible? अगर अभाव हो गया होता complete वहां पे, the world disappeared, you disappeared, therefore you were non-existent. Because there was nothing there, no? When you wake up also and I ask you what was there in your sleep, what is your answer? There was nothing there. Vedanta's clinching argument is, who noticed there was nothing there? ये कहने वाला कौन है जिसने कहा कि वहां तो कुछ नहीं था? I asked you for a key from the other room and I said, did you find the key? You said, no, it was not there. You had to be there for you to say that the key is not there. Who was the one who said, I slept? My own experiences कि मैं तो नहीं हूँ. I don't have the cognition of this firm individuality, this firm reality. My God, it's so firm to us. It requires a whole lot of manan to shake it even a little ground. But the fact is, I slept. If it was another changing reality, अगर इसका अभाव हो जाता, मेरा अभाव होता, क्योंकि दुनिया का अभाव हो गया, दुनिया नहीं है वहां पे नींद में, मैं भी नहीं हूं नींद में. In fact, that bed which I was so complaining about, I don't even experience that bed in my sleep. Fascinating. What is that nature of sleep? Is it truly slept off as non-existence? Is sleep a state of non-existence? Or that on waking up, sleep you do not know anything, but on waking up, again there is an anuman only, no doubt. I slept well. I slept well. And when I ask you, please describe sleep, your answer is blank, black, nothing.
There was nothing there, but there was sukham.
Slept peacefully. But in my sleep, that is my anuman that there was sukham. In my sleep, describe sleep. Black you can say, nothing you can say. All that you will say is my experience. है ही नहीं वहां पे. ये कहने वाला, अगर ये शरीर है, इंडिविजुअलिटी है, तो ये तो नहीं थी नींद में. That which saw the vyabhicharati. What was a vyabhichara now? The individuality is a vyabhichara. I have woken up. I sleep. It's a changing cycle. I wake up, I dream, I sleep, I wake up, I dream, I sleep, I wake up, I dream, I sleep. The flower is born, it exists, it dies, goes through its pattern. I see the whole thing as an experiencer of this jiva, but this jiva itself is sleeping and getting up and is changing. Who is pure existence? What is pure existence? Na vyabhicharati. the one which did not change in any of these kalas. Kalas means times. It did not change in any avastha, state. It did not change in any desha, space. It is free of desha, kala, avastha. Desha, kala, avastha has no impact on it. What is it that is free of it? And what is impacted by desha, kala, avastha? Time, space, and condition, causation. What gets affected? That is the mananam. And to be able to help us a little more to clearly grasp asat as mithya. So what is asat? It has an appearance. It is temporarily seen as there. Imposition of it is real, but it's an imposition. That reality doesn't stand the test of time, space, or condition. It is limited by time, space, and condition. Therefore, it is not the absolute existence. Absolute existence has to be one which does not change. Like in, he says, if you observe, I took the example of a flower, the traditional example is ghataha, sun. Sun ghataha. This is a pot. Taking that example, I'm going to go through this a little mimamsa that Bhashyam takes to clinch the topic, or whoever it's worth, it'll be worth. And if you do not understand fully, don't worry. A little listening makes it familiar and helps. As we all understand, Vedanta means now we have put up a proposition, there can be counter proposition put forward, disclaiming what you are saying, trying to give a counter argument. That's called a purva pakshi, another paksha to your thing. We said in the two buddhis, sat buddhi, asat buddhi. Defining asat means that which changes makes it asat, and the changeless is sat. Purva Pakshi here says, Ghate vinashte, Ghata buddhi also vyabhicharanti, Sat buddhi also vyabhicharanti. What if we say? Because we have already said all the world, the entire creation, we have concluded to say is anatma, is dependent existence, dependent on Atma. Atma is Brahman, and that Brahman, I am. Not out there after all the galaxies and after so many planetary systems. How many galaxies? We are Milky Way and there are many, many more galaxies. Uske beyond hoga Brahman. It's not an objectified entity. This galaxy is experienced here. So that whole thing is actually a perception. Here. So that Brahman, you are, thou art. That we established. And therefore, Ghata has temporary existence, has validity of it being mithya, not absolutely existent. But the isness that you experience of it, that isness that you impose on the Ghata, that isness is Sat. Purva Pakshi says, how can you call that isness Sat? Because Ghata is, pot is. That isness is associated with the pot. It's going to be a little subtle, so be patient and attentive. When I say pot is, Purva Pakshi says, pot is, तो isness pot के साथ है ना? तो जब pot गया तो isness को क्या हुआ? Should also go because now pot is not. Way up. Pot is. We said pot is. Here the pot is. Yesterday I touched upon it, so I'm just reinforcing it now. Pot is. Pot buddhi changes. The is buddhi doesn't change is our siddhantic claim. Therefore, isness is the sat buddhi. Potness is the asat buddhi. Counter argument is, thinking person will say, I don't see this clearly yet, because to me, pot is one. So when the pot goes, pot is not. Pot is, that sat buddhi with the pot has also changed. It's not available. Pot is not there, is also not there. Answer to it is no, this is incorrect thinking, incomplete thinking. Think a little further, because isness hasn't got destroyed when the pot got destroyed, because now isness is transferred as if anuvritti hui hai uski. It has as if now got given the status to pat, adav. Pat means cloth, etc. Flower, cloth, book, pen. That isness continues to the different objects. What did the Purva Pakshi say? When the object destroyed, the respective isness got destroyed. Answer is no. When the object got destroyed, the isness is now seen with another object which came in front. So one has vyabhichara, ghata got vyabhichara into pata, but ghata sun, pata sun, the sun has no vyabhichara. That means is. Should I repeat once more? Yeah? Okay.
Yes.
Ghata is, pot is. That from the very beginning. Pot is my perception. We said pot, the whole world is mithya, anatma. Pot is anatma, mithya. It has no independent reality. Purva Pakshi says, how can you say that? Because when pot destroys, हम कहते ना टूट गया, तो pot बुद्धि का क्या हुआ? Pot गया. तो pot गया is a perception, ना टूट गया अब तो है नहीं ना pot. तो वो तो चली गई बुद्धि, है कि बुद्धि चली गई ना? Now is it clear? The doubt of the Purva Pakshi?
But can the isness cannot be transferred to, it has become clay.
Correct.
The pot
Correct.
is, isness
Now-
is clay.
Correct.
Isness
We have
is
already,
clay.
absolutely, we have already got the answer. Yes, we have gone through the stages. Now we are seeing in depth the stages for Mananam. How did we arrive at that? तो पूर्व पक्षी क्या कह रहा है पहले ये समझते हैं, because that will be our doubt before we got the सिद्धांत. हमें तो दुनिया एक ही दिखती है ना. Are we able to trace it to Sat? So
No,
that
no, not as yet.
that Mananam के लिए this will help us. So what is he saying first? Let's understand what he is saying. He is saying all this is there. When it destroys, the isness is also destroyed with it. Where is the problem? घट गया तो हम कहते ना तो ये तो चला, ये तो खत्म हो गया. नहीं है ना. Example, supposing you have an ornament, say a necklace made of gold. You have a necklace. That necklace is there. and then you give it to the goldsmith and he reduces it back to gold. With reference to necklace is, the Purva Paksha says, the isness with reference to the necklace is now not there. Necklace ही नहीं है ना. So with reference to necklace, the is gone. Now we already know the answer. It's gone only to the gold. That's exactly what he said. Patado. That isness is actually not gone. It's not destroyed. It is transferred. It is anuvritti. It has moved. As if not moved is not the right thing. It is now seen in changelessly there. Now it is attributed to another object that is seen. Visheshana Vishaya eva sa satbuddhi. You can see the satbuddhi as if it is a Visheshan is the adjective. Cloth is, pot is, वो हमेशा उसके साथ लगा रहता है. As if it's qualifying the pot and the cloth. But truly speaking, isness is real. The pot and cloth are qualifying it. So Visheshana Vishaya, it is as if along with the object. Sa satbuddhihi. Then, therefore, satbuddhi remains. Seen now as if it is an attribute, it is associated with another object. This much clear so far? And all the brown lines are all Purva Paksha's point. The brown lines, the red lines are all Siddhant. Okay?
So Deepti ji, we can connect this with in Upadesha Sara we did every thought origin is I thought. So
correct.
Here also that I remains is the isness.
Correct. So that's why over there, this entire thing that you will do in the Gita is there in those few verses. That was the summary of all Shastra. Forget just the Gita.
But that isness is also Atma, right?
Is Atma only. I is also Atma.
Okay.
I is also Mithya. No? This individual is Mithya. Yes. In whichever way you see it, the isness, as long as we are seeing the isness has a continuity. What is changing and what is changeless? So we said, Ghata Buddhi, that isness is with the Ghata. When the Ghata goes, the isness is now with the Pata. How that isness seems to be like an adjective joined. That is why you see it only as one perception. वो हमेशा लगा है उसके साथ. So now the Purva Paksha says, Sat Buddhivat. If you say Sat Buddhi has continuity, this is very intelligent for those who can enjoy this also. If you say that Sat Buddhi has continuity seen in another object, the Purva Paksha says, then why don't we say that even Ghata Buddhi has continuity seen in another Ghata? Seen in another pot. We said isness is continuity. One object to another object. तो isness व्यभिचारिती नहीं हुआ. पूर्व पक्षी कहता है तो फिर घट बुद्धि की भी व्यभिचारी कैसे हुई? क्योंकि घट बुद्धि अब दूसरे घट में तो दिखती है ना. That pot is destroyed, but there is another pot there. We saw many pots yesterday. So one pot destroyed, but you can see another pot. So ghata buddhi is also na vyabhicharati because you can see it in another pot. So your argument is wrong, Purva Paksha says. So what does Siddhanti say now? He says, no. Ghata buddhi, you can say, can be seen in another ghata, but for ghata buddhi to be na vyabhicharati, you should see it in pata also. Sat, sa, is. Ghata is, pata is. Is got with ghata also, pata also. If you say ghata buddhi also doesn't change, you can see it in another ghata, but you don't see ghata in pata. You don't have ghata pata buddhi. You don't have an object which is ghata pata. Ghata pata is. It's very exhilarating if you get the steps. Because it's clarity, pure clarity, nothing else. There is no ambiguity here. Therefore, how far we have established? अगर हमें मन में संशय भी आता है कि नहीं, हमारा दूसरे ऑब्जेक्ट में अगर है तो सेम जाति का जो ऑब्जेक्ट है, दिस इज ऑल न्याय दर्शन से, therefore the language is like that. Whatever has the same jati, you can impose that on that jati is okay, but on another jati, though, you cannot qualify horse on rabbit. Horse rabbit is, this is a horse rabbit. If it had to have a continuity, both should have a continuity, no? Is this example clear? Is this point clear? Little?
Then even if it is another ghata only, it's still a different.
It is still a different ghata, correct?
So the
it is still a different ghata.
Is.
So it has changed, but this is only brought up so that we get more strengthened in our clarity.
So Deepti ji, for my clarity, if you die, for example, right, your Atma doesn't go anywhere, right? You will pick up another body and you will come back, correct? So this is what it exactly means, right?
Right.
Okay.
So far, we've not concluded, but so far, right. See, one thing is to say that we will come back. That's a Siddhant. But what is Gita addressing? What is moksha?
Not to come back.
So if I'm going to get the knowledge of what comes back, then I am already in samsara. So knowledge is not going to give me just that much explanation how I come back. That is a part of the explanation. But how am I free of coming and going? I'm neither born nor do I die. So where is a question of coming and going? Atma is not born. It doesn't die. Okay? So I'll go one step further. Are you all okay with it? Should I go one step further or should we stop here? Go with it? Okay. Go with it? Alright. He said here, Ghatantare drishyate. Another ghat can be seen. Simple answer. No. But ghat is not seen in pat. We saw it till here. Na patadau adarshanath. The ghat buddhi doesn't have anuvritti in the pata. But the sat buddhi has an anuvritti in pata. Then again he says, Purva Paksha. Then in that case, sat buddhi api nashte. Ghatena drishyate iti chet. This is a little subtle. The point is, for you to experience something, the object seems to be there. It is as if Ghata is there, Pata is there, so the isness is seen qualified to Ghata and Pata for you to experience. Sat Buddhi, if you say, also gets destroyed when Ghata is not seen. Ghata destroyed. So Sat Buddhi has also got destroyed with it. Shankara says, Vedantic Parampara says, no, Sat Buddhi doesn't get destroyed. Only thing that happens is the Visheshya Abhavat, its qualifyingness is now not there.
So only the thought that the pot is, that thought has gone,
Correct.
but isness still remains.
Isness still, exactly. That's right. Concluding it at just that point. Absolutely. Where did it go? Here. Is that so far okay? Clear? Taking a deep breath. So Sat Buddhi, the Purva Paksha says, if we just say that when the pot is destroyed, Sat Buddhi has no locus, as if with reference there, we said no. You can't say it has no locus at all. All you can say, it is not manifested locus. Vishaya Abhava. You will not see it as a Visheshan because a Vishaya is not there. Therefore, Sat Buddhi is still there even when the Vishaya is not seen. Best example, go back to sleep. The world is not there, but you still know you are there. And that you is not a form. This is a little detailed explanation. Skip that part just this much. Then we said yesterday again, Purva Paksha again says, how is both the cognition, Sat and Asat, possible in one location, in one sthan? They are both mutually contradictory. How can both of them be in one place? So, Eka Adhikaranatva. In one Adhikaranam. How is it tenable? Yuktam. Kaise possible hai? Ghata Adi Visheshya Abhave. It is not possible. Ghata Visheshya, absence of it, and yet seeing hai. Answer is no. Why? It is possible. Sat and Asat can have one locus. Eka adhikaranam ho sakta hai. How? He says, when you see water in mirage, you see rainbow in the sky. The technical example is water in mirage. Idam udakam. You are seeing water where there is sand. There is no water there. It is only sand. But you see water. Ekadhikaranatvam. Sat, in the context, sand is Sat and
Water is asat.
Water is asat.
asat.
है ही नहीं ना. When you see snake on rope, snake ekadikaranam, and this is the fulcrum of it. Why am I going through the thing with a hope that actually this is Vedanta? If I try and bypass it because it'll be simpler, then this is not justice to knowledge. Ekadikaranatvam. In one locus, pura manan Vedanta ka idhar hai. Like we said in Upad, I is your manana vishay. Main hu. Now let's do this analysis of Satya Mithya on main hu. Forget ghata pata, everything. Main hu. Forget rope, snake, everything. Forget every reasonable, logical thought process. Main hu is your experience, no? Main hu. Is anybody going to say मैं नहीं हूँ? मैं तो हूँ ही नहीं. Can you ever say that? First point. Yes or no?
No.
But first we are all together on this. मैं तो हूँ. Now मैं हूँ में सद्बुद्धि क्या है? असत बुद्धि कौन सी है? मैं हूँ is looking exactly like घटः sun. इसमें one is vyabhicharati, one is avyabhicharati. Which one is vyabhicharati? Which one is avyabhicharati? If you get this, you have understood the whole logic he has presented here.
Me, the individual, is changing.
मैं हूँ में, just between these two words. Which is vyabhicharati? Which is avyabhicharati?
Changing.
Which one?
The who is a separate and मैं is separate.
Excellent. So which one is changing? Which one is changeless?
The मैं is changing.
Excellent. So therefore, which is that मैं that I talk of as मैं?
The individual that does the vyavahar in this world.
Excellent. So what is that nature of the individual now established?
Changing.
Asat. Mithya. This individual perception is mithya. मैं is changing. This individual perception is mithya. Is a mirage. Water on a mirage. A scene in a mirage. This individual is not your pure existence. Oh Arjuna, you are seeing all these grandfathers and uncles associated with you. All of this shariram is temporary existence, dependent existence. On what? That who? What is the nature of who? Hey. That hey. I am. Amness. Isness. The quality of isness.
The substratum.
The substratum. Is it just the substratum? And on it, it's like saying, is it the foundation of a building? Uske upar building alag hai. It is not only the substratum, it also inheres everything that is imposed on it. Ever present. Avyabhicharati. Therefore, both seemingly having the same locus. The one who will discern what has got the changing me, the me, that one that changes, and the one that is changeless. Tasmat. He is going to now do the upasamhar, conclusion. Tasmat. Deha dehe. All this deha, body, etc. Dvandvasya are all experiences of duality that one has. Sakaranasya, they all have causes. Your body has a cause. The experience of heat and cold which is born from the sense contact has a cause. Sakaranatvam. Therefore, asataha. Therefore, na vidyate bhavaha. They will never have an independent bhava. Na vidyate hai hi nahi. They are only seen to be there. The snake is seen to be there. The water is seen to be there. Looks real. This, the one who gets it, has got Shankara's Adhyasa. Writes a huge, beautiful portion as an introduction to Brahma Sutra, Adhyasa Bhashyam. Adhyasa is a projection. So the seeming reality of the world is just a projected reality. In the presence of the one which is ever existent, lending its existence. Remember yesterday we said, the clay is lending existence to the pot. Pot has borrowed existence. This, he says, Tatha Sataha cha Atmanaha. This Sataha, now he is bringing the word Atma. This Sataha is Atmanaha. And it will never be that Atma will have Abhavaha. And Abhava means avidyamanata, na vidyate. Hoga nahi aisa, ho nahi sakta. Atma is sarvatra avyabhicharat. Always, ever, changeless. Uska vyabhichar ho nahi sakta. Why? Because Atma does not have a prakabhava and pradvamsa bhava. But Deha has prakabhava, pradvamsa bhava. How do you know this logic has to be picked up? This is the base of Nyaya. What was Ghata? Prakabhavaha. How do you know prakabhava? In the clay there is no Ghata, but clay is there. But pot is not there. Then from the clay the pot came, the name and form came, Vyavhar came with the name. Name and form is ASAT. The pot word is name. It is only a modification of clay. There is actually nothing called a pot. It is modified clay. Clay remains. Clay is that modification of the clay as pot, which is the namadheyam. It is only a name to a vikar of what is. So prakabhava, for pot to be called is as an existent reality. How do we say it is temporary? It is mithya because it was not there before. But is Atma like that? Do we have an experience of Atma being not there, but something else is there? If you say that, then there will be anavastha. Anavastha means it regress ad infinitum. Everything will have to be located to a cause before, and it will get into nothingness. And nothingness is not an experience. Because who will register nothing? Vacuum is not an experience. Nothing is not an experience. Even blackness and vacuum there is an experiencer of it to say it is knowledge. Therefore, evam atma anatmanoho sat asataha ubhayaha api drishtaha. The one who is clearly established what has gone into the category of asat, what is by nature asat, what is mithya, and what is by category. By category means what falls into the nature of sat. The one who can see it clearly. Sat. Last line is a beautiful conclusion. Sat, sat eva. Sat will always be sat. Asat, asateva iti. Iti tu anayoho, this fact, yathoktayoho, as is tattvadarshibhihi, is seen by those who know the tattvam. What is a tattvam? I think he says it over here. Tat iti sarvanama. Tat is a pronoun. What is referring to? Refers to sarvam, which is Brahman. Tasya nama, the name of Brahman is said as tat, and its bhava means its grammatical bhava roop is tattvam. That tattvam is Brahmanaha, Brahman, Yathatmyam, the one who knows this in its essential, as is, Yatha, Iyam, Yathatmyam. जैसा है वैसा वो देख रहे हैं. They see the whole thing as one existence, and that existence is Brahman, in which all creation comes and goes. Those tattvadarshibhihi, who can see it clearly. Therefore, now we come to the conclusion. What is the point of saying all this to Arjuna? Agama apainaha tam stitikshasva bharata. He said, bear what comes and goes, have endurance, forbear, for it is mithya. And he establishes it here. Tvam api, you too, O Arjuna. And O Arjuna means all of us. So Krishna is telling me, oh Dipti, tu bhi tattvadarshinaam drishtim, tattvadarshi ke jaise dekh. As they see, you also see. Drishtim. Adopt that drishti. Grow into that drishti. Ashray le usko. Let your intellect take the ashray in that knowledge. Then what? Shokam moham chahitva. Having destroyed shoka and moha. Shitoshna dini. Niyata. Aniyata rupani dvandvani. They have a nature of coming and going. Niyat, aniyat. Shita, ushna, adi. Vikaraha, I am sun. See them as only vikara. As marichi jalavat, mirage water. Mithya avabhasate. Avabhasate. Recognize them as mithya. Iti, in this manner, manasi nishchitya. Nishchitya means ascertain, deliberate thinking. Nishchit kar lo. Confused mat raho. Deluded mat raho. Mohit mat raho. निश्चय कर लो कि ये तो दुनिया का एक्सपीरियंस तो आने जाने वाला है. सुख दुख will come, those sukh will replace dukh. Sukh by nature will always be sukh, dukh by nature will always be dukh, but they will replace. Shita, Ushna by themselves keep replacing. अपने आप ही they keep changing. शीत कभी शीत होता है, कभी उष्ण होता है. तांस तितिक्षस्व इति अभिप्रायः. Therefore, the idea is, bear it, have titiksha. To all what senses present to you as an experience, have endurance for all the changes that it presents, because change itself, because it changes, it is a dependent reality. Now, why are we so interested in it? Because we, with an idea of an individual, are always looking for happiness. And the nature of our happiness, if after this any one of us can conclude, what would be the nature of that happiness? One word.
Permanent.
We are looking for. But what are we as individuals looking for? What happiness? What will be the nature of that happiness?
Always there.
As individual.
Temporary.
Temporary.
As individual, we are looking at, we want a happiness which is always there. But we have to understand, it is a dependent happiness. And therefore it is a cause of shock. Why do I get grief? Because the happiness that I'm looking for from this external reality, from all this sense of reality, I'm looking for happiness. And I don't appreciate that that happiness is getting qualified as a dependent happiness. And whatever is dependent happiness will have a karanam. It will come, it will go. Therefore, when it goes, it will be replaced. Happiness will be replaced by grief. That, in other words, your dependency on seeking happiness, dependent happiness, and your dependency on that happiness, look at it as mithya. And live within the aspect of what is there to be done and what is there to be, live with it, and whatever comes as not so pleasurable or not so pleasurable, have the tiksha. And if it comes as something very exciting, remember it's just a temporary thing. So don't get swayed either way. There is no tattvam here. There is no substance real here. यहाँ कुछ पाने को ही नहीं है. It's very difficult to understand for most people. One who understands literally jumps and leaps in Vedanta. सृष्टि में कुछ पाने को ही नहीं है, तो खोने को क्या है? कुछ पा ही नहीं सकते तुम यहाँ पे, हो भी नहीं सकते कुछ. जो है वो अभी है. That's it. What about it then? Use. Creation is meant for your use. Use it, live it well, live it full. But never delude yourself that either this is yours, or this will remain yours, or this will always be there, or all these can be correctable, are correctable notions in the light of what real is. And that real is not a theory or a projection of someone. It's not to be believed. It is an experience-based reality. My individual is my experience. Me being ever there is my experience. Me the ever there is not discerned by me as Sat. And that Sat is by nature Atma and Brahman. I've never done that thinking. What is the nature of Sat? I've always believed Sat to be the world. Yahi Satya hai. There is a story, I'll end it with this story. Because Vedantins are always saying Satya, Mithya, so the other Pakshas get very irritated with us. अगर सभी कुछ मिथ्या है यहाँ पे, तो what is there as real at all? So for us there is no confusion. It will take time to establish in it, but intellectually, okay, fine. The word Atma is the only real. Nothing else is real. So there was a king, and in his court he used to have, in those days they would have a lot of debates on different discussions on topics, like say existence is a topic. So different matams will come up and get their point. So one of them, Advaitin, came and he said, Satya Mithya, everything is Mithya. So the king really liked it. Because everything is Mithya and you are Satya and you are never born, you are never dying. Everything is, you are the real and you will ever last. So king was enjoying it thoroughly. There was another Dvaiti there. The one who believes Dvaiti means the duality is real. The creation is real. We are all a part of creation. That is another matam. And both of us have the same degree of reality. So he wanted to tell the king that no, the world is real. But he found that the king was getting fascinated by Satyamithya. So one day it happened that the king wanted to go to the forest to shikar karne, and over there a wild elephant came in front of them, or a wild any animal came in front of them. And the first one to run away from it's a wild animal, because he recognized, the Vedantin recognized the nature of things. Because of our clarity of the topic, we recognize the nature of things very quickly, quicker than the rest of them. We are edge, in that sense, more accurate in the assessment of things, because the real things are better understood. So the Advaitin understood this elephant is not going to be tamed, and he starts to run, and he tells the king, run, 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 this elephant is wild. So the king thought, everyone have to go back. They all go back. But the Dvaitin there got an opportunity. He said, see, he was saying the world is mithya, world is mithya, world is mithya. He was the first person to run away when the elephant came. At night, such special session he had with the king, the Dvaiti had. If the world is really mithya, why did he run? He should not have run, no? Because the world is mithya, elephant is mithya. Why did he run? Why did he get scared of it? So the king got convinced. Point to hai. If it is truly mithya, then why should the Vedantin run at least? We can all run because we still don't believe it is mithya. For us it's still real. The elephant is real, so I should run. But for him the elephant is mithya. So why should he run? The next day morning, the king calls him. He says, thank you for telling us beforehand, but I really want to understand, why did you run if it's mithya? So the answer Vedantin says is, but when did I say that the running was real? Do we understand? You don't shift the order of reality. You don't, in that order of reality, what is to be done is done. But the idea that it is tattvam hai hi nahi satya. The elephant is also mithya, my running is also mithya. But in that order of reality, I'm not mixing them up. And that is why Gita comes into context completely. Why? Because even though all this is mithya, will you be escaping your responsibilities? Should you be giving them up? Should you not be acting? No, because it is mithya. The excess value the grief has disappeared, the competition has disappeared, the fear has disappeared, the anxiousness is reduced at almost, okay, to the extent you are established, let's put it this way. All that is gone, but what is to be done? The clarity is always there. If an elephant is there, I will not be standing in front of the elephant and praying to Bhagwan, Bhagwan, elephant ko, rabbit bana do. Elephant is also mithya, rabbit is also mithya, Bhagwan is also mithya, Bhagwan can do miracles. No such delusion happens. You get extremely clear what ought to be done under this situation. That situation has a relative reality and importance. What needs to be done needs to be clearly understood. And how it is to be done has to be understood, so that you are not perpetuating a cycle of unnecessary causational experience, which is called karma. Karma is nothing but causation.
Awesome, Deepti. Beautiful.
The subject is absolutely, this is one of the best verses in the Gita. In the whole, why do we people say that if you even study the Gita, you don't need any other text? You don't need you don't need to go to the Upanishads. I said, even if you do Upadeshasar, you don't need anything else. Because all this is there in that one verse, Sattaya hi chit chittaya hi aham. And Ramana is telling us, discern. Only after hearing also we will get involved. The minute our class ends, all of us run. Ye karna hai, wo karna hai, sab. Whatever has to be done. But independent vichara, has to take place for Vedanta to come into life. Your capacity to have a reflective tendency has to grow. You have to reflect on verses like this. Ultimately, all that he's telling him is have titiksha. That he said one verse before also. But our idea of have titiksha centers only around senses. Now when he says have titiksha, if your knowledge has grown, it is not going to be a forced thing. There will be no suppression. There will be no mental issues. You're not going to bear and then suffer. Why am I only always bearing? Is it only my duty to bear? Why should I only be? उसको नहीं कहा ऐसे प्रतीक्षा करोगे तो then you will have other. If you understand the nature of things, pratiksha is an effortless quality. Once in a while you practice it, so that but with understanding when it is done, that's the idea of giving this knowledge here. Twofold ideas Krishna has. One is he wanted to establish the tattvam straight away. This is the truth. And the second thing is that when you live a life on values, let them be guided by knowledge. If there is knowledge, your abiding in values will become easy. Without knowledge, if you force yourself to do it, then at some point, mind hai na vikar to hoga. Now we all understand. Today it may feel like this, tomorrow it will feel something else. But your knowledge will relatively remain avikari, because it's to do with the truth. Okay, so we will end here. The next class we will continue. The next verse, I hope there is some, you may have to listen a couple of times, but it will get repeated also in different contexts, different occasions. The fundamental is very, very clear. What falls in the category of change, do not expect it to be changeless. Accept change to be the nature of the world. And therefore, the right value to things that are not according to your outcome is endure them in the relative context. So, will you do the chant?
Yes.
Should I bring the slide or you can do
No, I've got it. Sarvesham swastir bhavatu, Sarvesham shantir bhavatu, Sarvesham purnam bhavatu, Sarvesham mangalam bhavatu. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, Sarve santu niramayah, Sarve bhadrani pashyantu, Ma kaschid dukkha bhaga bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti.